What's a fun fact about yourself that you don't tell anyone, simply cause no one asked? I was on an episode of Jerry Springer back in the day. I saw my episode on TV a few years later, and it might be the cringiest thing I've ever done / seen. The trip was a blast though. Also, I have 4 nipples. Those 2 things are unrelated though. Both are interesting. I'm sure all 4 are interesting in their own ways. When I was 7 I stepped on a pop can while barefoot and cut my big toe off. The last 2 trainers I've had at my job both committed suicide. The woman I had my first serious relationship with is now in jail for murder. When I was 7 I stepped on a pop can while barefoot and cut my big toe off. I was maybe 3. Playing with glass bottles like they were blocks. Obviously one fell and shattered. My mom came out the door to see what was happening and I instinctively ran towards her as I was scared. The bottom of the bottle with a sharp shard sticking up went through my heel, slicing it in half. One of my earliest memories. The scar doesn't look impressive now, but it's huge compared to a toddler's heel. I'm totally fine. Story is my mother took me inside, cleaned the wound in the bathtub, handed me off to my father and passed out. Damn. A mother's love. She had enough adrenaline, or whatever chemicals, in her to tend to the threat. And then, only after knowing you're in safe hands, her body / mind gave way and recuperate. Damn. I just have to see Fran's outfit to tell you which The Nanny episode it is, and to give you a short recap of it. I can do something similar with Criminal Minds and Riyadh's haircut. I can tell the exact season. Usually the episode just by a screenshot of only that character. It's such a weird skill that I never asked for. It's a wonderful skill. Criminal Minds is a wonderful show. I used to have a really popular fanfiction account on Archive of Our Own. My top post got something like 30,000 views. I just went back and read them, and I'm confused as to how they were so successful. Well, now I'm curious. Which series / piece of fiction did you write about? A game, an anime, popular book series, movie, or television show? I always love seeing people write creatively about what they love. If you still have a link, I'd love to take a peek. I was not the father on a popular trash TV show. I didn't jump for joy or try to hog the camera. I came in knowing that it was extremely unlikely that the child was mine, took the test for peace of mind and went home. I don't tell people because in hindsight it was extremely embarrassing for me. I had to share a stage with a lot more guys than I was expecting, some of which were total scumbags. The company she kept made me ask myself a lot of questions. I ate a glow stick. So you're the reason they have to make everything non-toxic. I hardly ever bend over to pick up things when I'm at home. I almost exclusively use my toes and pick things up with my feet. I'm really good at it too. Me too. Monkey toes unite. That's exactly what I call them too. I'm so proud because my kids all have the same prowess as our old man. It's like second nature now. I made homemade explosives my first year in college with simple household ingredients. I stopped the night I was nearly caught. Like I had suddenly realized that what I was doing was not a simple prank. I think about that every now and again when someone says that people are not fully formed adults until later in their 20s. Wow. May you explain how you almost got caught? May he also explain how he almost made the explosives? I worked really hard studying for the SATs back in the day, and I raised my score from 1100 to 1540 out of 1600. I'm proud of that, but I can't exactly go around bragging. Edit. I think colleges were the only ones that I got to tell equals. Congrats, you earned it. I have never been able to hold a pen or pencil properly. The proper way never feels natural. Despite aids and intense efforts, everybody eventually gave up and let me hold a pen the way it feels natural to me. I can identify major credit card brands by their first digit, thanks to a seasonal job I had 11 years ago. 4 is Visa, 5 is MasterCard, 6 is discover. Amex starts with 3, which will always be followed by either 4 or 7. Amex cards also have fewer digits, but longer security codes. I also just set my keys down and don't know where they are. So I guess a fun fact about myself is that my short-term and working memory are absolute trash. But I have a pretty great long-term memory. I worked in retail in my late teens and early 20s. It's just a known fact which credit cards start with their correlating numbers. On my first ever proper high school date I had a mild gastro bug and literally shit about a gallon of diarrhea in my jeans when I politely moved away from her to fart. Or what I thought was a fart. It got worse. I tried to clean up, but the back of my jeans were literally soaked through. I nervously sought to rejoin the group we were with and stood well back and said something about not feeling too well and that I might get the train home. To my horror she says I think I've had enough too. I'll come with you. She sat next to me for 45 minutes on the train and never mentioned the stench as I slowly died 1,000 deaths. Sorry Anne Mary. At one point during World of Warcraft's Wrath of the Lich King expansion, I was a gladiator. Had a server first trade skill achievement, a legendary weapon in the same patch it was introduced, and was the 47th most dead person in the US and 152nd in the world. My life peaked at that moment and it's all been downhill ever since. I don't have a gag reflex and understand that a true deep suck involves sticking out your tongue to stroke the oft-ignored undercock. It's a shame that I'm a straight dude that looks like Shrek mixed with Bernie Sanders. The undercock. I won a printer by playing Minecraft. Come on now, don't leave us hanging. I can't sweat. Edit. I didn't really expect people to ask me so many questions, so let me clarify on some things. I was diagnosed with anhidrosis, which is the inability to sweat normally. It's rare, so not many people hear about it. When I say I can't sweat, I mean that I can't sweat like the average human. I apologize for that. It wasn't my intention to mislead anybody. If I actually cold and sweat at all, that would mean I would have to live in a care facility and be constantly monitored. I answered some people's questions down below, so you can read them if you're curious. Edit 2. I should do an AMA on this. Lol. Prince Andrew, is that you? I lost a fight to a plastic toy when I was a baby. Nearly died. Australia lost a war against emus. Don't be too hard on yourself. We still haven't forgotten that. We will win the next war. We will take back our land. I was a child actor. Interesting. What did you act for? I was an extra on Hey Dude for nearly 2 seasons. My uncle was a medic on set. I won my 5th grade spelling bee and went on to the next level with a bunch of elementary schools just to fail on my first turn spelling sandal. Cool. Me too. I passed the next round too. Then got to be on local TV for the final round. First place winner got to go to D.C. to compete with all the other states. I came in 5th place. The word I got wrong. Heliolatry, it means sun worship. In 5th grade? That's a hell of a word. I went out on balloon. Forgot the second O. When I was born, one of my ribs split close to my heart, and instead of healing properly, the rib twisted around itself and ossified that way. Think of how you cross your fingers and that's a pretty close approximation. Sadly, this has warped the muscle around the area, and if I do anything too physically exerting I start to get sharp, stabbing pains in my heart. The strange thing is that it only happens with certain exercise like running, whereas I can cycle and swim without any issue. I guess that means I can commit to only 2/3s of a triathlon. I have an extra bone in my feet, kind of where my ankle is. I figure am I the more or less evolved than you guys IDK? Weird. My doctor told me I was missing some bones in my feet. They seem to be working fine though. You guys should fuse and become a whole human. I've never broken a bone in my life. I've only broken 6, but those children deserved it. r/Kindofka said comments. I'm almost completely ambidextrous. I can use both hands in everything except writing. That's where only my left works. Any job I do I just switch between using each hand like painting, scrubbing, working, sports, you name it. I feel like that makes things 2 times easier. I see long streaks of light whenever I see a light source. It gets particularly bad at night to the point I get mad thinking someone has their brights on when in reality it's just super bright LED headlights. My eye doctor said it might be a mix of astigmatism and my pupil being slightly elongated. I can imagine how annoying it can be. Is there anything you can do to fix it? I think getting LASIK could fix it, but I've gotten pretty used to it, and while it would be nice to see things normally, it's just a time and money issue right now. I don't really have money to throw at a surgery that's pretty non-essential nor the time for the recovery period. Kinda sucks, but that's life. Take the crap with the good things. I can lick my elbow. Big deal. I can lick your elbow too. Isn't that how socialism came about? Come, let us lick each other's elbows. Stephen Fry. I have a weird phobia of things that weren't supposed to move involving/entrapping me, like styrofoam particles moving with a breeze on the ground. Completely terrifying for me. I was a college radio DJ, had a show. I always forget that. So very few of my current friends know, like, and I mean I seriously forget it. I'll find myself wondering if I packed enough into those years and completely overlook that part. Drive X, where X marks the spot. ... That life has felt empty and aimless since sometime in high school. I felt I couldn't tell anyone because that's how everyone felt, right? Then I'm just a complainer and wasting their time. I had nothing to be depressed about anyway. I recently opened up to my fiance, and with his help, I've accepted that I needed help. I have a therapist now, and I'm taking meds and continuing sessions. It helped me to realize that it was never normal and that I can be so much more. I'm happier than ever, and I'm still getting better. I think I need to get help. I encourage it. When you're ready you should look into it. I give the best and warmest hugs. Hugs back. In every friendship I've ever been in, I have always been the least favorite friend. You may be the favorite until they discover your username. Hey Jude, remember that guy in our group in school who you don't remember? The one who used to lick narwhals' asses? I can recognize every single country's flag. I might not know where it is, their language or culture, but I can tell you which flag belongs to who no matter what. Pretty much similar, but I can place them on a map and know the capital too. I have one of the rarest genetic combos in the world, red hair and blue eyes. My sister does too, but she's even more rare as a lefty. I've known someone with naturally red hair, lefty, with heterochromia, where the eyes were green and blue. My crazy family, all my relatives, distant or not, have something crazy about them. Edit, I should mention like some have been murdered, or have some fame or anything else. Unique family. Guessing there is a bunch of drama. Actually I guess there is drama when a relative molests another relative. I always have to balance things relative to my body. If I'm walking and my left foot steps on a crack, I have to balance it by having my right foot step on the same exact crack from the same angle. If I'm in bed with a pillow under my head and my left ear touches the pillow, I have to balance it out with my right ear, so on and so forth. It was much more irritating when I was young because I had less control and would always have to balance sensations, even if it was in a social situation where it would be awkward. I had to force myself to let these things happen, and now I can sometimes let it go if I can't balance things without people noticing. Lol. I balance like that when I eat. For example, I eat 2 M&Ms chewing with teeth on my left side, and the next 2 M&Ms need to be chewed on the right side, and so on. I used to care about matching the colors of those M&Ms as I would eat them, but I've loosened up my OCD. I also match my chewing on each side, not to the point of colors though. Lol. I have a pretty sharp long-term memory. I can remember the small details that others tend to skip. My friends and family kinda feel freak out and somewhat amazed whenever I added specific infos. What song was playing on the background? What color was a specific stuff? What's the name of a dog that we met a long time ago? What did a person say exactly? etc. I can retell a conversation happened years ago with the exact words used. I have to lessen it though. It makes people creep out. Lol. Oh. You and you/Napalms and Sheen should meet. She has photographic memory, not sure if you have it too, but pretty similar. P. A photographic memory only relates to visual things. Hence the term photographic. And eidetic memory, when you can remember everything. Not limited to one specific sensory input. I have half a testicle. If your high school nickname wasn't half nut, then you need to demand a refund on this simulation. Hey, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.